Right, what up YouTube? It's Rain, the mask. So I put up the video a few days ago, the unboxing, and a few people hollered at me and asked me like to do a review. So I'm going to try and do this in a different way, and I'm going to focus on the more important parts of the trainer and what people always ask about. But anyway, so getting into it, the first thing that I noticed with these is that, now again, I'm going to be brutally honest, I've never personally had a pair of 11 Concords in a box. I've had them before, but I've bought them in other boxes. You know, when someone's just selling them, but they've got them in a different box. So I don't know if this excitement here, when I say excitement, I mean the distance, the shape of the size of the box is right, because it just seems too big to me. But again, it doesn't matter because you're not buying the box, you know what I mean? And this is just to house the shoe. Again, this is just that paper business. Everyone knows about that. So, boom, skeng, let's keep it moving. So the first two things I'm going to talk about is the actual laces and then the third spacing. And remember, these are authentic. Now there is that differentiation between China authentic and store-bought authentic. I would go as far as saying that these are China authentic. And I think that's a term that us in the UK have kind of adopted. We've done a bit of research and we've come out that there is what is called a China authentic. Now let's get into the laces. Thick rope laces. These are the right size. And they're actually thicker than the Bread 11s that I've got and the Gamma 11s. So quite, well, thick. Then you've got that third spacing. Now the third spacing is there, but it's almost like you have to adjust it. So you like the laces were sat like that when I started the video. You have to kind of adjust it. But again, that's a minor thing. A very minor thing, but all in all, like from a quick look, yeah, everything seems to be in order. So that's basically the laces and the third spacing. Now what we're going to look at is the actual packed leather. Now you can probably see that it is shiny, very shiny actually, but I feel that there's a bit of a grain to it. When I say grain, there's like a bit of a texture to it. And I don't think it should be like that. And again, actually, no, it shouldn't be like that because I've had the authentics. It shouldn't look like that. Again, it's one of those things that is not like, I don't know. A man would be able to look and say, oh, look, this, that, the other. But realistically, no. I think you're good with these. I really do think you're good with these. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. The packed leather to me is okay. There is that little, I think they call it a widow's peak. And I don't even know why they call it a widow's peak. Someone can inform me. But yeah, all good. I'm going to move on to the upper, which is that kind of meshy material. You can see that that's awesome. Perfect. And what I've seen over the years is that the uppers of the authentics tend to yellow, or they just get dusty and they just turn off-white rather than a brilliant white. So if you do get these, look after them. Again, these are authentics, inverted commas. Right, now this is one of the major flaws on this, and this is what shows me or tells me that this isn't an authentic or a retail authentic. If you look carefully at the Jordan, it's like he's what, picking an apple or something like that, and his head looks a bit square. If that can you make that out? Head looks a bit square and looks like he's picking an apple. I dare say you could fix that. You could I probably could clip that off right now, but I'm not going to. Then moving round to the 23. What I would say, what I'm going to show, the 23 is fine as far as I'm concerned. Somebody may have gripes with it. The reason why it does look a bit off is because the actual, I don't know if you can make that out. That's perfect. That's why. So that's why it looks a bit off. Hopefully you can see that. But the 23, I'm going to pick up the other one. The 23 is fine, as far as I'm concerned. Is it a bit stretched out? Possibly. Will someone be able to tell? Possibly. Are you buying retail authentics? No. Are you going to complain about that? You shouldn't. But anyway, Anyway, yeah, so again, this is the other shoe. The head looks a bit square, but the Jumpman looks okay, and it does line up. It's supposed to line up with the 23, and it does do that. So all in all, that's all right. Going on to the actual sole of the trainer, like, there is nothing at all wrong with the sole. As far as I would be, like, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. There are a few really technical bits you could get into in regards to describing if the sole is authentic or not, but it doesn't bear any difference. It looks like the trainer. It's fine. The question will be, one, should it have that blue tint? Can you see that? And two, will they yellow? Well, questions for you. You lot tell me. Then moving swiftly on to the carbon fiber. The carbon fiber plate is in place and it is textured. Yeah, it is textured. It's not as textured. If anybody has the Bread 11s, the carbon fiber plate, you can't even see that well. Let me just try and get into some light. The carbon fiber plate on the Bread 11s is probably the best carbon fiber I've seen. As in, best that I've seen, because on the Gamma 11s, it's almost a different kind of carbon fiber, if that makes sense. But these are all right. A man's not going to be that close to your trainer. It's just that if the fact of you pay for authentics, but are you getting authentic quality? I don't know. Also, you can probably just make out there are a few kind of glue stains, probably easily removed. But again, these are supposed to be authentic. Supposed to be authentic. Now, right here, I'm going to talk to you about the actual midsole. The midsole on the Jordan 11s has got that textured kind of, it looks like thatched squares. It's got that in place, and you know what it is? It's got that little groove. Let me put these down. I'm going to change over to this one. Hopefully you can see, just here, there is that little groove, or what you call a definition. That's in there, because obviously on the Super Perfects and on the Perfects, sometimes you don't get that. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. But then you can see, perfectly done. I'm not going to say there's any issues with those. What I would say is that, and you know I go on about the cut of trainers. That's how I know when trainers are replicas or authentic. The cut of the trainer on this looks okay until you get to about here. You can start to see the peaks, or the widow's peaks, or the inaccuracies, so to speak. But again, my view is a man won't be that close to your trainers, and you don't really see men wearing these in the UK. That's my view. You don't really see men wearing these in the UK. And if they do, they're probably China Authentics. Ha! Imagine that. But anyway, yeah, so that's my thought on that. Right, the overall shape of the trainer with a bit of a comparison. The shape to me looks okay. What it is, on some of the Super Perfects and Perfects or AAA versions, the angle of the back of the trainer is supposed to slant in ever so slightly. This has kind of got that down to a T. The toe box, for me, is a bit iffy. And the reason why I'm going to say that, I'm going to compare it to, voila, the Bread 11s. So first off, you can't really tell. It's just when you go in closer, I don't know if you can make out. One, the cut of the trainer here is a little bit lower. You can just make that out there, just a little bit lower. You can also tell the whole detail of the patte leather. It's just not as shiny. But everything else is in the right place, like the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Probably a bit of a mad distance between there and there. But all in all, it's a good trainer. Is it authentic? No. I'm going to tell you that live right now. It's not an authentic trainer. Again, we in the UK have deemed it to be a China authentic. And there is a difference. There is a big difference. One thing I just want to show you quickly, if I get them both, is the actual backs. So you can see that on the 11, Bread 11, sorry. And if I compare it to the, not bad. And that's one of the major flaws that you see on these replicas, or whatever you want to call it. This is not as sharp as it should be, and it doesn't line up. But these are fine. The only thing is that the difference in height, so you can't even make it out. Sorry, I'm in bad light. But if you just have a look there, you can see the distance between the white part of the midsole to the top of the pat leather. And if I bring this one out, you can just see it's just a lot higher. But again, a very minor difference. If I was to rate these out of 10, I'd probably give them a 7.5. Would people know that they were replicas? Not sure. Some people would, some people wouldn't. But you know what I mean? This is my take on them. Other people have their own views and own videos and whatnot. But anyway, Rain the Mask giving you an in-depth review. Signing out.